Hello and welcome to Homer for Saturday, August 16th, 2025. Today we will be reading from lines 722 down to 736 in Book 11 of the Iliad, in which we see the continual preparations before the battle. And we get some great food. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope you enjoy. Let's read it. There is a river Minueus that empties into the sea hard by Arene, where we waited for bright dawn, we the horsemen of the Pylians, and the throngs of footmen flowed ever after. Thence with all speed, arrayed in our armor, we came at midday to the sacred stream of Alpheus. There we sacrificed goodly victims to Zeus, supreme in might, and a bull to Alpheus, and a bull to Poseidon, but to flashing-eyed Athene a heifer of the herd. And thereafter we took supper throughout the host by companies, and laid us down to sleep, each man in his battle gear, about the streams of the river. But the great-souled Epeans were marshalled about the city, fain to raze it utterly. But ere that might be there appeared unto them a mighty deed of war. For when the bright sun stood above the earth, we made prayer to Zeus and Athene, and joined battle. Wonderful. Let's sing it in the Greek.
Estidatis potamos minueios eis halabalon. Engutnarenes othimenom aneio dion. Hiepeies pulion tarepereon ethnea pesdon. Enten pansudies untaucasitor echthentes. En dio hie commes dieron chron alfeioio. En da die rexant supermeni hire acala. Tauron alfeioi tauron de posedauoni. Autarathenai glaucopi di buona gelaien. Torpone pethalomes da katastaton entelesi. Kain katakoe methemen entasin hoisin ekastos. Vihoras potomoio atar megatuo moia peioi. Vestande astuiai raisaim movotes. Las vi proparoi thepane megavergon areios. Autegarelios paethoni paresque thegaies. Sum promesta macedi tau come noi kai Athene.
Wonderful. So, I guess there's, to a certain extent, patterns of, so when I read these passages, let's step back a little bit here and judge the channel as a whole, which is that many of the readings of these passages that we have here in the Homer YouTube channel are, they're around like 10 to 20 lines long, usually not less than 10, not more than 20. And I look for similarities of performance cadence within these passages. And that means that lines 715 to 725 aren't really compared so much as 722 down to 736, right? In other words, like, what if this were the passage, right? Half blue and half not up here, right? So when I say to you that I see a comparative shift here of alliterative beginnings of lines, so for instance, Anguthanarenes enten endioientha, right? Versus amphi, amphestan alla, right? When I say that, I'm comparing two passages that seem to me to exhibit this right now, but perhaps if you went further up, you'd see that there is also, there's also al angelos and alla up here, right? I mean, it's not quite as clear, but so I think it's notable. And I guess it begs the question of what is a consistency of musical composition in a performative sense with the Homeric epic? Because really the whole poem has to be extracts and senses of conflagration, of things colliding into one another depending on the appetite of the audience and the performing poet of the day. So it's not entirely clear what portions of the entire Iliad will be sung in any given performance, and it's not really clear as to whether or not the little bits and pieces that we have here are really not encompassing that spirit. So with that being said, I'll just say that maybe the best way to think about it is a performance of very long series of lines, which is something I want to start doing on the channel soon, performing many, many hundreds of lines at once in order to get a better feel of how it really works, although we've done that before. See my video on Book 8. Anyway, that's just some reflections as I point out to you this sort of what seems to me a simple altar kai al sd ing n seems to be a simple ring structure here, and we love that in Homer. And then the last thing I want to point out is how cool this is, these last four lines. So they stand desiring to sack the city, but there's a great work of Ares that will be gestured to them. And then the sun comes out, phaethon, right? In opposition to phane and the previous line, light, right? To become, great showing. And then, Athena versus Ares in the ends of the lines. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. Oh, last thing. Phane is the comparison to Zeus, is what I would say. Interesting. That's Homeric philosophy for you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this extract for today, and I look forward to sharing more Homer with you tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening, and take care. Bye.